fallen in defense of freedom for our country. We ask you during this climate of conflict that you would just provide protection for our military and wisdom for our leaders, and wisdom for this board as it leads the city forward. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Vernon.
Here.
Alderman Phillips.
Here.
Alderman Newberry.
Here.
Alderman Crockett. Here. Alderman Walker. Here. Alderman Fair.
Here.
Alderman Benjamin. Here. City Administrator Asbury. Here. And we have at least.
Thank you, ma'am. Consent agenda items, you should have 2 claim reports and 2 meeting minutes, one from the regular meeting, one from the public hearing. Questions, concerns?
Make a motion to approve the minutes,
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Citizens participation? Seeing none, we will go into old business. Bill number 13, 2026. This is the employee sick leave. Questions, concerns, we tabled this one last time. Anything we need to talk about with this one?
I asked David to put this back on the agenda because I wanted to just discuss it again, because I don't want it to just kind of fall away and us not address it in one way, because we don't have, we don't have something in writing, and I'd like to have something in writing for it. And so the change that was made to this was that, if an employee leaves, we need to just set a precedent for if they leave, their sick time goes away if they come back within, X amount of months or whatever, or if they do come back within X amount of months, they get to get their sick leave back. We just don't have anything, and people have asked if they've returned, and so I just wanna make sure that we have something in writing for that.
Is there ever an idea about putting maybe someone's sick leave into a pool for other employees to use when they need it?
So I explained that in the email that I sent out, about how that currently works. We have, and I included our personnel policy in that as well, and I didn't bring a copy of that with me, but the way that works is that if you have some sort of an extenuating medical circumstance, you can get hours donated from other employees. You must exhaust all of your other time before you do that. So if the board chooses to take sick time from employees that leave and put into a pool like that, that's fine, we can do that. But as it stands right now, sometimes when an employee will leave, they will just donate all of their time to another employee. And I don't necessarily like that, because you haven't earned that time for yourself. And I think that the example I used in my email about somebody that's been here for years could donate it to somebody that just started, and then they could have all this time and not have to show up.
At the school, if you remember, we had a sick pool that you could donate one day a year to it.
Okay?
And if you donated, then you were able to draw from it if you needed it after you exhausted all your sick time. Which I kind of like that idea better. That way, if you're participating, you can use the time. If you're not participating, you don't get the time or chance to use it.
Who makes the decision on that, if you can use that time out of the pool or not?
Well, you have to have something from the doctor. You have to have, it's got to be a immediate family member or yourself.
So that, as long as there's time in the pool, it's used for that? Yeah.
We
So
always
typically, is there
had
policy?
time in the pool.
Yeah.
No, we've never.
We have something similar in state government, it's called a shared leave pool, and there's a committee that's formed.
Yep.
And the people are anonymous, so you do not know who's applying, and all like user visit time or anything like this, that's not used, goes in that pool. And then, like, let's just say you had a medical emergency and you had exhausted all your time, you would just submit an application for shared leave, and it would say, my wife had a baby and there were complications and I have to stay home later or whatever, and then those are submitted to the shared leave committee, and I think they meet like once a month. And then they don't know the person, but they just say, does it qualify? And that's a really good way then to use the hours and not have to donate them necessarily, because if you're a brand new employee and something happens that you can't help.
Right.
That would be a.
And I'm totally fine, I don't necessarily know that a committee is necessary because, I mean, at the state, obviously, you're dealing with
Right, but like
thousands of
here, we
employees
could
here
make
with
it like
50,
a board
so.
decision or something
Yeah,
like that.
but even now, it hasn't, the way our policy reads, we don't have to have a decision made necessarily, it just has to be like, you have to have your doctors and everything like that,
Or
so
you
it's
know.
just done.
Right, or you could even say, if there's shared leave available,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could cap it, like you're only allowed to draw 40 hours, so that you're not using it all, or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that, I just want something in writing to where we have something that people can know that, yes, we can do this, or no, we can't do that.
I think it's a great idea. I'm not familiar with that, so somebody smarter than me on that topic's gonna figure out how that needs to look.
I think that'd be, I like the pool approach.
Okay, so, I don't know that that needs to be an ordinance, or if it just needs to be something that we update our personnel policy, and then we'll bring it back just to make sure everybody's on the same page. But do we want to have an option for people to donate to it, or just when employees leave?
I think both.
Okay.
And I can send you like an example.
That'd be great.
So you don't have to start from scratch.
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, and it's always been volunteer. We've had several guys that have like had surgeries and stuff, used up their time or had cancer. And we, like some of us that have been here a long time that have got the hours, we just hear, well, I'll give you 40 hours, I'll give you 80 hours. I mean, the guys don't have to do it if they don't have extra time.
Is that an option that we'd like to continue to allow
I was gonna say,
employees
are
to
we
do?
gonna do both?
I don't have a problem with both, but.
I don't either, I
don't
just
either.
don't know how you wanna,
Well,
Maybe-
that portion is
maybe
already
allow it-
in the policy, that's in
Maybe
the
allow it
personnel.
until we get that pool built up enough that,
Right.
that you wouldn't have.
cause it will go, if people donate one day a year, it will grow very quickly.
And there's nothing to say in our policy that we couldn't say, like, you decide to donate 20 hours or 40 hours or whatever, because you have a lot, and then something happens to one of your buddies.
But I think it needs to go
You
into,
could donate
what they
more.
donate, I think needs to go into the pool and not just directly to the employee, because
Absolutely.
we've had an employee that took advantage of it.
Oh, I can
Somebody-
imagine that, yeah.
Yep, I agree.
so, who wants to work on that?
I think Destiny and I will work on that, because Destiny's over payroll, so if you can send that to me, and then we'll kind of put that together. That way everything will, I don't wanna put it in our personnel manual as one, I think we should leave it the way that it currently is with how employees can donate, but then we'll just change it to that they need to donate to the pool, not directly to the employee. And then we'll have a pool of employees that can just donate or once employee wants.
So we're gonna take the 13.
We're gonna take a little, but we're gonna come back with it.
No, that's good, I like it, that's good.
Oh, but we do need to talk about item E.
Okay, do you wanna table this, or do you wanna make it its own policy?
Well, if we don't make a decision on E, then it has to be tabled because it has to come back as well, which is really unrelated to what we just talked about. And so I would like to have some direction on it.
I am fine with, like, them not being able to come back on personnel. So I would be fine saying this is how it is, and then it's different, or
If,
leave E as it is, and then just.
if we're fine with that, then we can go ahead and approve this tonight then.
For E, just help me understand, like, employees leaving and coming back within 6 months, what typically causes that? Like, why would employees leave and come back and shift around?
There are a lot of reasons. We've had an employee that came back because there was a sickness. And then they came back, we've had employees that have come back because they thought the grass was greener and they found out that it wasn't. So, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons for an employee to come back within that period of time.
So do you feel like this happens a lot for 6 months? Because I'm
It's
thinking like the
happened twice,
onboarding.
it's happened twice in my 2.5 years,
Okay.
and we didn't have any answer. So once, okay, twice, we need something concrete.
Right. I mean, if you all feel that 6 months is, you wanna put that in there, I'm good with it. It's just, again, my go-to is like, I would hate for employees to leave and come back and play this game of.
Well, that's a hiring issue with the
Right.
department heads.
I almost would rather see it go in the shared pool whenever they leave.
Yes, we should.
All together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when they leave, let it go in the shared
They'll
pool,
get back
and then if they
if they
need
need
it, they can obviously pull from the shared
Absolutely,
pool.
I'm fine with that too, just scrapping it and adding the shared pool stuff.
I think it's easier to manage too.
There you go.
If somebody retires from the city, do
Is that a thing?
We only pay out for vacation.
That's why a lot of the guys that had been here a long time, that had all those hours built up, would give it to the guys when they left, cause they weren't getting anything for it.
Yeah, that was their benefit by passing it out. So the benefit being able to put it into a shared pool would be a great thing,
Yeah,
instead of
instead of
just
just
getting
going
rid of
away.
it completely.
Yeah, I think it's,
So we're not going to vote on this.
no.
No, we're gonna
it'll come
rewrite
back
it.
Different.
We're gonna rewrite it.
It'll come back.
So do you need a motion to table?
Sure, if you want to.
I move that we table, ordinance, 13-2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Chief Gordon's not here. Chief Taylor, you got anything you wanna speak about?
I'm sorry.
You got anything you wanna speak about?
I'm good.
Okay.
Steve is.
Steve's here.
Yeah, he's.
Okay, Destiny?
I think Randy was the.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a bid in front of you. So this is for the pool roof. We had a bid opening last week, and we received bids from All Weather Roofing, from Cornerstone Construction Solutions, from Ray's Lawn and Landscaping, and from Allspec Metal Systems. And the low bid on that came in at $11,997. And that was from, hold on, no it wasn't, $11,991.35, and that was from All Weather Roofing. So we're asking for approval of the bid for All Weather Roofing for replacing the pool roof over the concession stand only.
Make a motion to approve the bid process for all of the receivers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Anything else?
No, the rest of mine was later.
Okay. Alright, Bill 21, 2026. This is zoning. Okay, this is kind of a two-part ordinance because they're in two sections. They're both right next to each other. This is rezoning from R1 to R3. This went through planning and zoning last night and passed unanimously.
Yes. And the one had to be done so he could be a budding R3 with the second place.
So they had to do one first and then
The
second
one
one.
closer to the airport, on the southeast corner, budded R3. So once we change that piece, then we can change the other ones. Which is over.
Questions, concerns?
Yeah, so I went to the PZ meeting last night and it was super eye-opening, just understanding the process of how this all works. And, you know, I appreciate, you know, John's putting an investment in the community, helping us grow, and it's great for us. But I guess the questions I have is first, our comprehensive plan for the city, do we have one?
It's very outdated.
So my concern is, per our guidelines, like, we're supposed to ensure that, like, when these subdivisions go up, they are in line with our comprehensive plan, and it makes sense, but our comprehensive plan is super outdated. Which I think they said like 2006 or something like that, so it was over 20
We've
years
got
old.
one in 21.
We have
Sent
comprehensive.
one out to somebody from, I mean, 21 is still
It's
5 years
still-
old, but
It's,
based on what's happened in the city in the last 5 years, but yeah, that's the last
Okay.
one.
So if we have one 21, I mean, they say the best practice is 5 to 10 years to keep it updated. So they would say that if the comprehensive plan is in 21, it would still be within that updated period. Yes, we can update it again. So how does this subdivision stuff align with that comprehensive plan? So that's my thought, is because it's great. I think it's gonna be good for the city, but we also know where it's going in. We have gravel roads, which that's gonna have to change. We're gonna get all this infrastructure built. I know the Dunn's, LLC is the ones putting the infrastructure in with the water lines, the gas lines, all that stuff. He's paying for all. But what about the traffic study that's going on in this area? What's going on with the flow of traffic? Like, how's that gonna shape? And is it going to work with our plan? I guess that's where my thoughts are coming with this. I know we're talking rezoning, and this may be a little bit cart before the horse, but to another degree, we also gotta be ready for it as well. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. I just thought we could chat about that for a little bit.
So normally what happens with comprehensive plans, we go to like, council of local governments, and they go through and they have people that are versed in comprehensive plans. That's probably where the last one came from, I'm pretty sure. They go through and they look at where Eldon is, where Eldon should be going, what they think, and they bring it back to us and then ask for suggestions, is kind of the way it's worked in the past. After we read through what's going on, we say, yes, that's where we think we're at. Obviously, the city is way different than it was 5 years ago. I mean, we have cleaned up so many houses where it was like, we need to clean up these houses, we need to do this. Well, that's happened. Most of the dilapidated houses, at least in the first go round, are fixed. We've grown a lot commercially. I'm okay with doing another one. They're labor intensive. Council of local governments, yeah, they're not cheap.
It's expensive.
15,000, I think, is about, if I remember right, is kind of what sticks in my mind. But I'm okay with it if we think we need to do another one.
So, how many of the actions we've taken through ordinance have looped back into our comprehensive?
Zero. I mean, I would say,
Strategic plan and then operational
I
plan.
mean, I would say no one up here knows that we, I mean, obviously you didn't know we even had one. We don't look at it anymore because things have changed so much since the last time we did it.
Is it a useful tool?
Well, for grants, okay, so to be honest with you guys, the reason we did it, a lot of those is for grants. You have to have a comprehensive plan for certain grants. So the reason we went out and did it was for a grant.
Yeah, I agree with that. And is it something we need? Yes, because it's like, for state law, RSMO 89.040, zoning must be in accordance with the comprehensive plan. If we don't have a comprehensive plan, then how can we rezone things? So I think we do need to keep it up to date. I think it's beneficial not only for us as a board and city government, but also for our community developers. Because they need to know, if he's gonna sink all this money into this investment and we don't have some kind of traffic study or comprehensive plan, understanding what that's gonna toll over on that side of the city by the middle school area, and then people are, like, they don't wanna live there because they can't get in and out because it's so congested, like, that's doing him a disservice as well, and then that's gonna shoot us in the foot later. Plus, we're talking about our streets departments, our water departments, our fire department, all the public works, like, we gotta scale up to have at least a plan going in mind. Okay, we're gonna increase all these houses, how are we going to make sure we sustain those houses, to sustain, the city ordinances throughout this entire community, because we're growing, which is great. And I know our downfall is we don't have property tax, and all of our income comes from the state tax, so we're not getting property tax on these houses when they go in. So it's just thinking through that, do we need to think about, I think there's like an impact tax that you can apply to the houses, so when people buy it, it goes on the top of their loan, but, that makes the house cost go up. So it's just some of the things I was thinking through as, they're talking about this project and what they want to do with it. Again, I think it's super beneficial, I'm all for it, but how can we make sure it's as most successful as possible?
So we've been down some of this. Scott's been pushing for us to do a stormwater tax since I've been on the board.
Years?
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say how long, but yeah, it's been a while. He's been pushing for us to do that for a long time because stormwater, it's measurable. You can measure, hey, this is how big the roof is, you tax off of what goes through there. I've always fought him on it because I really want growth.
Right.
We've always needed growth. We may be at a point where we may not need as much growth as we did in the past. I disagree still, but we may not.
I think we need the growth, because if Quaker's adding all those jobs, I'd rather those residents live in Eldon than themselves or anywhere else. I think we have a great community, we have, people dedicated to this community, and I would like to see this community continue to grow. So, I mean, I don't think the growth is the question, it's just, how do we do this in a way that we ensure success? That's where I'm coming from. Let's grow, let's do it. We have a great community, we have a lot of things to offer our residents.
How are you proposing we go about it? Do you want us to talk to council of local governments again, or are you wanting to go a different route? Because if you have specific things you want to look at, it might be better for us to hire somebody different to go after it. And they may be the right person to do it as well, and I think that's where I would start if it were me going for it, because they've done it so many times.
I'm fine with starting that way, because when it comes to comprehensive plan, I only know a little. Like, I'm still trying to understand how comprehensive plans are formed, the purpose of them, I know they're for grants, and how to, when we rezone things, we should have a comprehensive plan to go off of. So I'm fine with that route, if you think that can get us what we need.
It was not on my radar, so I haven't thought it through at all.
And if we have to think it through a little bit more, we sure can.
Are we required to have one aside from just grants or our own?
I don't believe there's a state law that
What
you
did
have
you
to
say?
have.
So it's from the state, the RSMO 89.040 is the zoning must be in accordance with the comprehensive plan. And then with our element code, section 405-150, no subdivision shall conflict with the comprehensive plan. So maybe it's outdated and maybe I misinterpreted the words because legalese, right? And I could have, but just thinking through that.
I have a question. When I've ever worked with these plans, we had a strategic plan which was goal-oriented and it was time-limited, and we had an operational plan that supported the strategic plan that told you step by step and everything that happened after that. And every meeting had to loop back into that. So you supported the goals, what everybody agreed on that they were going to do. Now, what I don't know is how does a comprehensive plan mirror those ideas, or does it?
It would at the exact time that it happened, so I'm looking around here, Terry, me and you are the only two that have been on here for over 5 years, right? So we're the only two that were even around whenever the last time we did a comprehensive plan. That's the bad thing with the board for 2 years, that it's gonna change as soon as you get new people in here. They're gonna have new ideas, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, it's a good thing to have new ideas and other ways to go, but their thoughts are gonna be different. Maybe we look at doing something where we can upgrade our comprehensive plan every 2 years. We go with a company that says, hey, every 2 years, we'll pay you a couple $1,000 to come in and.
Is a comprehensive plan the same thing as the strategic plan that is goal-oriented, supported by an operational plan which tells you step by step how to achieve those goals, or what you agreed to? Are they the same things? I mean, what is a comprehensive plan?
It's the roadmap for the city, is the best way to put it. And does
Is it the same thing as what I'm talking about?
I think it would be similar, just like to give you some context, why I think this is, on Brian's radar. Historically, since I've been on the board, we haven't had a project this big. I mean, we're talking 120 houses, and we're talking 46 units that are fourplexes. So we're not talking, I'm opening one business on Main Street, we're talking bigger. So for me, I think the thought is, are we growing internally at an acceptable rate because we're growing externally? And are we being proactive versus always having to come in and be behind the 8 ball and be reactive? So I think that's where this would lead. So whatever you wanna call the plan, if that's not what this looks like, we could make a plan, but they probably know better than we do how to do that. But that is why this is a bigger deal than just, like when you said, has this been a problem with ordinances before? Probably not, because it's never been to this scale.
So do we have the infrastructure to support, moving all the way back to what we wanna prove here? Do we have the infrastructure to support that?
So, based on our wastewater, we usually average around 770,000 gallons a day, and our system will support up to 1 million. So, based on calculations, that's about 620 houses that we can still maintain with our current system as it stands.
And those are recent, right? You just got those?
Yes, those are,
That's what I did
those are
this
recent
today.
numbers, yeah.
Because the other thing is, it's not just, for me, it's not just water, it's, do we have enough police officers? Do we have enough fire department? Do we have enough dispatchers? I mean, if you do the quick math in your head, and I'm not a mathematician, you're talking 120 homes, 46 fourplexes, so that's, whatever that is, we're talking about 304 units that people are going to be able to live in and move to. If there's an average of 3 people, and every one of those, that's 900 people. And that's an average. People might have more. I might have 5 kids, so my average is 7, not 3. So my bigger concern is, I don't think growth is a bad thing at all. I think it's necessary for a city to sustain and be, desirable for people to come. We wanna grow, we want the cool stuff. But also, what we don't want is to have to worry when Brian and Randy both come to us 2 years from now and they say, we're so overwhelmed, we don't have enough of whatever, like, I think we need to think now, okay, if we're gonna grow like this, do we wanna talk about adding another person here, adding another person there? You have to have money to do that. Trevor says that a lot, you can't just do that, but if we have to think about it. So would this plan help us do that? I don't know.
You're taking 300 homes averaging 2 kids, that's 600 extra students in our school.
And I said that same
Can
thing.
we handle that? No, not.
So you're not gonna get them overnight, and with the school district, you get property tax every time they
I
add.
know, but I'm talking about facilities. Do we have room in our schools
You'd
to
have to do another bond.
and rebuild schools?
But that takes time to do, so if we proactively are thinking this is what's happening, we could give everybody a chance to give a heads up. We could give the department heads a chance to say, this is how many people I think I will need. And then we're not gonna be you going, Mandy, we need $520,000 right now, does the budget support that? Because you're gonna be like, no.
Well, and I think that's why when it's budget time, we have those conversations. Like, what do we foresee that we're going to need? Of course, I always ask them more money or more people, and I think we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
That 2 years ago, that was the conversation, and it was either or. Now it's, okay, let's try to figure out how to get our people more money, but also increase our staff, and we've been able to do that. I think we've been able to add someone in the fire department each year. Police department, we are adding another person this year, I believe. I thought we were.
No, I didn't raise this. I didn't do it.
Okay, so that was the choice of Chief Kidwell, and then with the Public Works Department, we were able to add, I think, either 2 or 3 more people. And obviously, 2 and 3 more people with what we're talking about isn't much, but
It's something.
it's something. And, you know, when we start talking about this again in October, we're gonna have a better idea of what this looks like. We're gonna have a better idea of what, you know, increased jobs at Quaker and Adient and places like that look like. And so I think we can't, the last thing I wanna do is add a bunch of jobs and then none of this come to fruition and then I start making cuts and laying people off. Because I
Right.
know that the employees of the city have been through that before and they don't wanna go through it again.
And I don't think that, I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, that's not my intent at all, but I think we know about it, so we will start pushing
Sure.
for it, because it takes a long time. It takes a bit to get a bond passed and to build that, so, great for the schools, nobody's gonna say, no, don't give us more students, but what they're gonna say is, we're gonna have to figure out where, and what it looks like, and how we're gonna pay for it, and who's gonna do it, and who we're gonna hire, and what their grade splits look like, and, you know, do we need more facilities? And so, I just am a firm believer of, you can plan and plan and plan, and if it doesn't happen, okay, but it's not gonna be the last time something like this probably happens if it continues on, so I just don't wanna be caught with our hands down, basically.
Okay, 2 things that I wanna say. One, before it was not really for adding a whole bunch of houses before we got the use tax. With the use tax, I am for it because now with use tax, anything that goes to that house that is bought outside of the area that comes in, we do benefit from it. So adding houses and annexing land now makes sense to me. It did not before that. The other side is that, how do you wanna plan for this? That's my question. I don't know how to be super proactive on this. I mean, we can make a committee that sits down and looks at everything that comes in and says, yes, this is what I think this is going to take. But I don't know how to plan for this because this is such a moving target. If you would've told me 5 years ago that we were gonna have this problem, I'd have been like, no way. I mean, we've got so much other stuff going on, there's no way. But we have it now. I don't know how to go about this.
Well, I don't wanna have to, I mean, speaking only for me, I don't wanna have to approve everything that happens, but this is something, it's first time, it's a big project, so I think we plan on a case-by-case basis. I don't expect Mandy to call me and tell me every time somebody wants to do something, but I would like to know when big things like this are coming, so I can start thinking like this. And, okay, like, what do I wanna ask, and what do we need to think about, and what does that extra cost look like? And so I think you can't make a plan that's like, here's the plan. I think you make a plan like, this is what's happening right now, what does that look like for us? And then the next time, it may be like, we can follow that plan, or it may be something completely different, and we gotta think of another plan. I don't think you can cookie cutter this, personally.
Yeah, and I think, start a comprehensive plan, get that updated, and then see where that takes us, and then start watching this, as this whole thing develops, and just making sure we're up to speed along the way, so we're prepared for, the road paving and all the traffic whatever that looks
What
like.
does up to speed mean though, Brian? Because I don't know how to.
I think for me, what up to speed means is knowing that, okay, if I have all these houses going in and developing, what does the traffic study looks like in that area with these new road additions? Like, do we have, are we prepared for the traffic new ingestion in that area with all the residents? You know, however you wanna pronounce or frame it, like, are we prepared for it? Have we done a traffic study in that area? And if we haven't, like.
I don't know that we've ever done a traffic study in
No,
city
we
limits.
have, part of
The
the
only
problem
time,
is,
the only place we ever do traffic studies is on the highway.
Yeah.
52, 54.
So we won't need to do anything for that business or for that development for subdivision, or is it just?
I'm just saying, in general, the only time we've ever done a traffic assessment, if you will, is we do it, they do it on the highways and
And the way they do those is they actually count the cars that go through, and then they come back and say, these are the cars that go through. Right now, there's not gonna be anybody going through out there.
So when we do the comprehensive plan with this group, is that something they could shed light on?
I don't know, we can ask them about a traffic study, because
If we're adding all those cars there, I know that road, you know, especially middle school, kids coming down, people driving their kids up to middle school, they use that dirt road a lot. I used to use it all the time for my kids. And I just don't know what that looks like with all that.
I would be more worried about the width of the road.
yeah, I mean, Oakley's work, there's no doubt about that. And a lot of things with the traffic study, I'm all for it, and I know that traffic is an issue, in town, but the major places where it is an issue, those are MoDOT roads. I mean, even if you're going out to north,
Right.
yes?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Back when Ronnie was the chief, I don't remember what city administrator we had, but he come down to my office and he said, we have a 5-year and a 10-year plan. I don't know where that is, but I helped him type it, I'm telling you right now, the conditions, I think that was in 16, right?
I have no idea.
It was 15 or 16 we had to do it. And I'm telling you, I was the chief in 17 appointed, and in 18, everything in this town changed. Even a 5-year plan at the police department level, because Randy had to do it, I had to do it, Steve had to do it. Well, we can do it. But Randy had to do it, Steve had to do it, and then Rodney and I did it. I mean, I agree with Trevor, if you do it, and you wanna stay on top of it, it's gonna, I read it today. One of the P and Z board members sent Marcia an email wanting to go over it. It doesn't even match, I mean, just what I read, it doesn't even match what we have now.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. If we really wanna do one and keep it up to date, we've got to do something every year or two.
I think that's a good idea, at least
See if we can,
every 2 years, yeah.
see if we can find somebody that will update it, help us update it every couple of years.
One of the things that, of course, we all know Pat isn't for raising taxes, however, we have a parenthetical here. Years ago, we had a city tax, property tax. This board crashed that tax, and we've been living on sales tax ever since. I don't know why they did that. I wasn't around, I don't know the story, but it is unusual for a community of this size to not have some kind of city tax for property. Or, you know, there is and we don't have anything to register our cars within the city, or a small, and everywhere else, you have the little sticker up on your windshield, you know, everywhere else. I'm not saying that I want us to go out and tax all our citizens, but it's not unusual to look at those and see how they provide. And, what's the name of that tax? And I was telling you about it, and they tax it on toilets. Remember, it's not a use tax, it's, can't think of the name, a lot of cities do it, and the contractors have to pay for however many toilets. You guys out there, help me, you know what this is, don't you? Other other cities do it, especially growing communities. Everybody's looking at me like I just fell off the turnip. Okay, well, there are not overburdening methods, but there are methods for us all to contribute to the community growth in a positive way.
Okay, I wanna talk about this for just a second. So, this is a checklist that, Chief Kidwell and Robbie's been working on, that I asked for, and I asked for some sort of checklist to go forward through it. We've never done a project of this magnitude, we may never get another one, but this is kind of a checklist that they started working on, so if you guys have suggestions on this, please let us know, let Robbie know about it. Because right now we're kind of flying blind a little bit on what to do. We also have an ordinance right now that says 2 or more homes, is considered a subdivision. We need to change that to 7 where it mirrors closer to what we're actually getting at. So I think next meeting we'll bring that back to where it says 7 lots instead of just 2, because right now it says 2.
I think one of the things that you all are asking for, with, as it currently stands, you really don't see major plans until after it's gone to P&Z or after it's gone to variance or anything like that. The way that this reads is that before really any major work is done, as far as the engineered plans and everything like that, the application is filled out, and these are for planned unit developments. We're not talking about like 1 or 2, a house or anything like that. We're talking about major, 7 or more houses that we have a plan for. And so after the initial plans are reviewed, and we're talking like non-engineered, just the initial plat is reviewed by, myself, Chief Kidwell, Chief Fernan, Steve, then it comes to the board. And you all can say, okay, yes, this sounds like a great thing for the city. We want to move forward with this. So instead of getting this information after all of the work has been done and after everything has basically been decided even by the P&Z board, you all are getting to see it first. And so I think that that's something that you all haven't necessarily asked for, but you have kind of as the way that we're talking tonight. And so once that meets your approval, then we can move forward. Then we can start looking at engineering. That way we can start, when we can send the plan reviews to Scott, and he can work with the engineer if there's 2 different people. And so then it can go to P&Z, and then you'll get it finally after all of that has come through. And so and this is definitely a working document. Like Trevor said, yes, Brian?
What you guys are getting now is a big project. Last meeting, you guys approved a rezoning. This meeting, you're doing the same thing for, Heartland. You're not approving any construction. There's no construction that has been approved yet. The only thing you're doing, you've rezoned it, you rezoned one, now you're rezoning the other. The next P&Z meeting, they're gonna do the lot split, the lot combination. And then when they do that, they have to give us I'm calling it a subdivision site plan, but it's got all the infrastructure and all that on it, and that goes to Scott. And then Scott reviews all of that, just like he did. He just reviewed the plat and sent a page of requests for information on 2 of the projects. And the one that was reviewed last night, you haven't seen, but they'll probably get it tomorrow. But there's nothing that you guys have seen so far has come close to approving any type of construction. That will come when we get the site plan map that has all of the infrastructure, the roads and everything. I just wanted to make sure everybody got that.
That's what we're talking about zoning right now.
I think this checklist is a really great start. I think it will help us, those of us that are worried about the plan ahead, it will kind of give us a heads up, and it doesn't stunt growth for your everyday, day-to-day stuff that because I don't have time to be involved in all that. I just think these kind of big things would be something I would be interested in. So I think this is a good heads up for us, but a way to let business go as usual.
I think it's a good checklist. I like it.
Appreciate that.
Okay, so So what I'm hearing is we've got a decent checklist start, if you guys will think about it some and get back with it. I'm gonna talk to somebody about trying to define a comprehensive plan, I'll start with council of local governments first, and see what they say, where they kind of approach this. I'm not sure who else does strategic plans other than them, I'm sure there are lots of groups out there.
So, the other thing that Dean's mentioned last night, I know this is a large project, and there's a large investment into this as well. You know, they had one of the gentlemen has abstained from the vote because he had personal ties or something to the project, I don't know.
He's a banker, so he's very likely gonna be involved in the.
Perfect, so
down the road.
with that said, do we have to do the same for us up here to make sure there's no one's tied, just put on records like, hey, we're not tied to this, and we have no personal tie to this?
Yeah, if you got a conflict, you should abstain.
Is abstain and recuse the same thing? I don't think it is. Abstentions go with the majority, so there is a vote on an abstention. So, but recusing means
Yep.
you're not in the vote. So be clear on that when it's happening.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
I was involved in the last real comprehensive plan, about 2001, 2002, something like that. And just so you're aware, not how it works with council of governments, but if they're going through the practices of a comprehensive plan, they involve the whole community. They'll have boards up and write notes and thoughts. They want the input of everybody in the community on this, not just you 6 members. And it involves everything from every department, water, sewer, streets, fire, police, anything you can think of that might be affected by future development. And one of my biggest frustrations, I've been on planning and zoning for 20 plus years, 25 years probably, is we've got development right outside of the city that we have no control over. And think of how much in the last just 10 years has developed outside our city limits. We have no control over how the codes, there's no county codes, no control over the roads, no control over the sewer, the water, any of that. And had we had, I don't know, hindsight's always 20/20, had we had a better plan or in place 10, 15 years ago before this started happening, and maybe involving an annexation, and I realize you say, well, we don't have property tax, so what's the benefit of annexing the city? Well, it's control of how it's developed and how what your future growth looks like, or could look like. And so, I mean, it's a major thing, and I for one have been fighting for a true updated comprehensive plan for at least 10 years, as a member of the planning and zoning. And, I mean, I know they did something in 2021, you said, I don't know what that was. It wasn't a true comprehensive plan where they bring in the hearings and meetings and workshops and all that. I mean, it's labor intensive, like Trevor said, and it's costly. But, and I know, Pat, you said about the property tax. And I want you to realize two things. One, that was voted on by the people. They were offered to rescind it was just 44 cents. It wasn't like $1.50, $2 property tax. 44 cents, and it was voted to rescind it and replace it with the sales tax. It was 4 cents or half cent, I'm not sure. Okay, but another thing to think about, where my mindset is, or think about is, we are bigger than just the city limits, a lot bigger. And at one time, they said 40% of Eldon's sales tax revenue came from outside the city. I'd say it's probably more than that now. But if it is 40% even, these people, they drive on our streets, they use our parks, when they flush a toilet at the park, it doesn't go into their septic system, it goes into our system and is dealt with by us. So to have people who take advantage of our resources and our benefits, help pay for these benefits and these services, to me, is a win-win. So I just needed to share that.
So just a little research and then just a few minutes here I've looked. City with a population of 5,000 can expect to spend somewhere between 30 and 60,000 on a comprehensive plan. So it's not
multi-rate on a new one or an updated comprehensive?
Both, I mean,
I feel like we need to start from scratch.
what we've got isn't gonna help us more anyway, if we're gonna go that route. But I do wanna explore that if we can update it every few years, we can get someone to possibly do that.
I might be able to get it cheaper down the road if we do one big.
Yeah, package, yeah, I agree.
Cause it won't be as labor intensive maybe the second time around if it's not.
I agree, yeah.
Back to the zoning,
Yep.
ordinance we have, both the applications have that they're next to a water tower, is that possible? Or is just the application incorrect?
They are right next to each other.
The one's next to the airport, right, the one's on Oak
They
Street.
join,
So if you take on the back, Terry, and look at this,
Yeah,
this
I
one and
understand
that
what they are,
one.
but the applications say their original location is the water tower. Is that application incorrect?
The water tower's right.
At the corner of Haynes and Oak, right?
That's the western edge of the, see, they own the whole property, but they could not ask for it all because it had to be in two pieces. Right, and then the other goes clear over to the airport.
Right, all the way down, so it.
So the water tower's actually right here.
Yeah.
And the old, is the reason that they're doing it in two pieces because there's a section line down the middle?
No,
Why is it in two pieces?
Because the second piece is not touching R three.
R3.
R3.
you have to put
So you gotta
R3
be
to
the one to
request
get
R3, so they had to request R3, R1 to R3 on
So they're not,
one.
instead of combining the two lots together, that way it was easier to do one than the other.
I mean, it's all one big
Yeah, I got you.
parcel.
Okay. Okay.
And just also, I mentioned this to Trevor, but another thing that came up when during discussion was, every time they ask for an R3, my mind immediately goes to, okay, that could be apartment. Now, in most cases, it's not, they're gonna do quadplexes, but it can be 3 or more, so it's not, they prohibit multi-story apartments in R3. Corey made the comment, he said he appreciated my concerns, he said, what if the city was to look at R2 and say R2 could include up to 4 plexes? Then R3 would strictly be apartments. Because, I mean, the last thing, I got apartments on the north and the south in our subdivision, now Cooper and Sunset, whatever it's called. We have it, they're already been there for years, okay? But if I was living in a, we'll just say countryside, use an example. You don't want an apartment complex on right next to your houses. So there's reasons why zoning has those layers, but R3 does not restrict to quadplex. It can be apartments. And every time we have these big little count for the planning and zoning, I cringe and I just make a statement, I say, look, my concern is we don't want apartments in this development.
So,
But
is your
looking at legally-
suggestion that we consider
Corey
making
suggested.
R2 up to a fourplex,
That was
and then
Corey's.
R3 is only a,
Well, R3 would be more
Apartments.
than that, right? And that was Corey's comment, not mine, but,
so that would be something to be brought back to the board?
yeah, at some point, if you decide to do that.
But I think it would be bad at some point to do that, because if Corey sells part of it, let's say, because he's talking about doing this with Vegas, if it brings it in that non-adequate, he sells it to someone else. It's hard to, our club apartments here, nobody can stop me.
I've already been approved, yeah.
R3.
When you put it because of the airport.
They want this.
Yeah, no, the airport, you can't have multiple, yeah, I get it.
But it could be somewhere else. It could be an issue. Yeah, I'm not opposed to at least looking at that. That's something that we could definitely talk
One
about.
question, it doesn't really matter, but I was always curious, when we get these applications for anything, it always says they're supposed to have these things that accompany them. Do they ever provide those? On the very last page?
Yes. Yes.
They do? I was just curious, cause that has some of like Brian's traffic conditions and what do you, like, so I was curious what they put there.
I know that Marcia collects these, and she makes sure that they have everything.
Okay, I was curious, cause I was like, oh, we were just talking about that, and they're supposed to tell us what they think.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say traffic study, it says traffic conditions, and so it's
Right.
just gonna be basically their opinion on the matter.
Right, I was curious,
Yeah.
cause I've never ever seen one, maybe that's because there's no feedback, I just was like,
Other questions, concerns?
With this plan, did they put in, with the plan, do they incorporate like well pump size versus how much water is being used throughout town and whatnot in them plans?
That'll be later on, possibly, right now they're just doing the rezoning, so whenever you get that, it's got, whenever you get the plans, well, actually, I should ask Scott, because he's the one that looks over.
Yeah,
Whenever you get that, it goes
construction
to,
plans, they'll have hydraulic analysis on the water system and their usage of it, as well as analysis on the collections.
Cause I mean, my biggest thing,
Conversations
and,
are already happening between the engineers.
I mean, my biggest thing, and Steve can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, with our well size and just 4, it might be tough keeping up with that much going in. So I didn't know if
We just did
that.
a hydraulic analysis recently, didn't we?
Not for this
Not for that
subdivision.
area,
They'll take
I know
their
that they did.
proposed development and they'll throw it into the hydraulic analysis and determine the pressures and flow rates in the system and how it affects the system. It's required by DNR for their construction permit, but it comes to us first for review.
does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? If not, let's take up bill number 21 first.
Make a motion to put ordinance number 21-2026 on its first reading and ask the city clerk to read it by title only.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 21-2026, an ordinance changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code in section 400.040 of the municipal code of the city of Eldon, Missouri by rezoning certain properties within the city.
Alright, make a motion to suspend the rules and put ordinance number 21-2026 on second and final reading and ask the city clerk to read it by title only.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 21-2026, an ordinance changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code in section 400.040 of the municipal code of the city of Eldon, Missouri by rezoning certain properties within the city. Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Alderman Weavery.
Yes.
Alderman Crockett.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
yes.
Alderman Fair.
Yep.
Alderman Benjamin.
Yes.
Mayor having ayes and passage and approval.
And I'll declare bill number 21-2026 to be ordinance 21-2026. Now bill 22.
No discussion on that, we're all good. Alright, I make a motion to put ordinance number 22-2026 on first reading and ask the city clerk to read it by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 22-2026, an ordinance changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code in section 400.040 of the municipal code of the city of Eldon, Missouri by rezoning certain properties within the city.
I make a motion to suspend the rules and put ordinance number 22-2026 on second and final reading and ask the city clerk to read it by title only.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 22-2026, an ordinance changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code in section 400.040 of the municipal code of the city of Eldon, Missouri by rezoning certain properties within the city. Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Alderman Weavery.
Yes.
Alderman Crockett.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
Yes.
Alderman Fair.
Yep.
Alderman Benjamin.
Yes.
Mayor, you have enough ayes and passage and approval.
And I declare bill number 22-2026 to be ordinance 22-2026. 23 is pay application, and it looks like we owe right now $53,151.61 for water main improvements in Countryside Estates. Questions, concerns? Where are they at on this? Are they working on it?
They weren't, now their equipment
Yeah.
went down and they couldn't saw cut asphalt.
Okay.
So I think they're getting it repaired and they'll be back to saw cutting and even continuing shortly.
This is
for countryside water line.
Have they tested that piece yet? I know you said at one point they're getting close to testing where they're at.
I don't know. I'd have to check on that.
One other question for you, if we're going to repave that, does it make sense to put concrete down in it before we repave it? Or just have the asphalt company come through?
We are doing an analysis for Mandy right now, and so
Okay, good.
we will be getting back.
Cause we were talking one day and I thought, well, that seems kinda silly to put down concrete and then mill it right
Yeah,
back down.
different situations.
Yeah, okay.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry, it goes back to the other thing. What's Guthrie Landing Airport?
Guthrie Landing is the road that goes into the airport, named after his former city administrator, Deputy Guthrie. So, Guthrie Landing, yes.
But why does it say Guthrie Landing Airport in your documentation?
And
It says it's
Guthrie
next to
Landing is-
Guthrie Landing Airport. I think.
Over the airport road, I think.
Is
And
it
it's Guthrie
Airport
Landing is
Road?
what we named it. I don't know if it's Guthrie Landing Airport Road.
No, but I'm thinking that's what they probably meant to say when we
Could be.
Well, I couldn't believe there was an airport around here that I've never heard of.
It's our airport, that's the name of the road.
Okay, never mind. Moving on.
Is that money for repaving coming out of the streets?
We haven't decided on that. We can do it that way, but it also can go underneath our repairs for the water.
So if we're repaving the whole thing, that can be qualified as a repair.
It's included, yes, it's included in the loan that we have, as, because it's a repair, because if you're gonna tear up all the streets, you have to put them back.
Well, no, I hear you. I've just heard concern about that, so I had to ask. Oh, yeah.
Can I just ask a really
Yes.
weird question, and
Yes,
it's
of course.
probably a Jonathan question?
Oh, no.
On the third page, it talks about like fire hydrants and new fire hydrants, are they brand new to put in over there?
They're brand new.
Yeah.
So that comes off our list? We just
Some of
have
them will,
to
yeah.
address that. Okay,
Yeah, some of them will, and then they were gonna use Cloud first, but like we talked about in the meetings, we want everything Mueller. They
Yes.
switched those out, they're putting in Mueller hydrants.
okay.
Can you use the parts, I was gonna ask you this too, I was thinking about it the other day, can you use the parts from the old ones that are out there to fix some of the ones in the meantime?
They are salvaged to the city.
Okay, so there will be pieces that you can use.
And we've done that before too, on hydrants.
Okay, good deal, because there's gonna be quite a few.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
No problem.
I was like, oh yeah, there might be.
Other questions, concerns? Pat, you have anything to say about this?
No.
Go for it, yeah.
I make a motion to put ordinance number 23/2026 on its first reading and ask the city clerk to read it by title only.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 23/2026, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and city clerk to execute payment application number 3, agreement between the city of Eldon, Missouri and Dittmer Ditching LLC.
I make a motion to suspend the rules and put ordinance number 23/2026 on its second and final reading and ask the city clerk to read it by title only.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 23/2026, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and city clerk to execute payment application number 3, agreement between the city of Eldon, Missouri and Dittmer Ditching LLC. Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Alderman Weaver.
Yes.
Alderman Crockett.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
Yes.
Alderman Fair.
Yes.
Alderman Benjamin.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert. Ayes. Passage number 10.
I declare bill number 23/2026 to be ordinance 23/2026.
All right, you have two reports in front of you. One of them is just my monthly report that you get. Are there any questions on that? And then, the other is just the updated sales tax that came in after the report was done and printed, so, you have that in front of you. We're really close to where we were last year, but we're 174,000 over plan for the year so far, and then 110,000 better than last year, cumulative, so looking good there. And that all includes the fire tax. We've been receiving that for over a year, so in case there's any questions questions on your own water usage. So, next, I've asked Scott to give us a cost comparison for the pavilion. We're looking at building it back as a wooden structure, and then I've also asked them to give us an idea on what it would be if we would go back and rebuild it with metal. We have received our insurance money, and so once we make a decision, we are good to get it out for bid and move forward with that.
Alright, this is,
Minus the concrete and the groundwork. So the check we received was for about $143,000.
this is Evan Bax, the structural engineer. He's worked on this for you.
Is it from Mary's home?
I'm perfect.
Oh, of course you are, across the river.
Same thing.
Definitely not the same thing if you're from Arizona.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just teasing.
So we put together a preliminary design and cost estimate for the steel and wood pavilion. We also have renderings of each. Renderings can be found on page 2 and 4. The estimated cost of the wood option is $115,000. And the estimated cost of the steel option is $175,000. Now, this design is just preliminary. As we refine it, some things will change.
And just to remind you, this is a 40 by 80,
40 by 80.
not a 40 by 100. That was good.
Why did we say we were important? I don't.
Just the amount of the structure and with the design, that it would be better to go smaller. The concrete will still extend out.
Right.
Where it does now, so you'll basically have 20 feet of concrete on both sides rather than 10 feet of concrete on both sides.
Is that, do you wanna make it bigger again? I mean, it's under budget from where we're at.
If we go with wood, yeah. But is this design feasible going that large? 'Cause I think that was another concern that we had.
It should be, yes. There shouldn't be any problem with that.
Silly question, but the investment include your fees.
No, construction only.
What are the engineering fees on this?
20%?
Yeah.
That money for everything.
So if we're doing the construction stuff, we have to do bid again for this?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. We'll bid back up here.
Yeah, once this is decided, then I've asked them to have that ready for us to go next week, or next meeting.
Next week.
Next week, guys.
Tomorrow? We're ready, we're pavilion done, let's go.
I never make demands on you, do I?
You say all that.
Our city grant work actually happens on the spec and engineer stuff though. Is that technically, okay? That's what I thought.
I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't, actually, I'm suggesting the opposite. I think we should on everything moving forward, but that was just a, yes.
So, did we enlarge the building when we built the building that blew down? So it was the same size as the prior structure that was standing in place there?
What we proposed here is a 40 by 80 building. What was there, so it was 40 by 100.
And the one before that was a 40 by.
I think so.
And Joe's.
I think so.
Does anybody know?
I think we put it back on the original footprint, if I remember right.
I think so too.
Okay, and the reason that we, you just said something and I missed it. Okay. For clarification, why would we reduce the size of the structure?
We were concerned about the cost and the size and, I mean, if you, it's a very large pavilion, and there are very few groups that won't fill it completely.
I've lived backing up to the park for years and I see a lot of people come and go at all hours of the day and night. So y'all don't misbehave, I'm watching. Anyway, I don't see groups that use the entire building. Sometimes there's a family reunion with a few people, but I have no objection going smaller, I just wondered why.
It was based on comments that when the structure of 40 by 100 was up, that it was actually a little large, and that it was actually clean. And therefore, it down and hopefully saving some costs, because we thought at that time that we were going to be limited to exactly what we were gonna get.
Is there ever a time when it's full the orchestra, whenever they perform there, is there any time I could ever remember it being close to full?
I've never
I mean, the thing about this is, for me, like, I rented this for baby showers, and you're right, you don't fill it. And it would be nice to have that area outside of the pavilion, like if it was a sunny day, that you could sit on the concrete, have your kids draw the sidewalk off, or whatever, have an area outside of there where if they're having water balloons or whatever, they're not dragging it to the pavilion. So I think you still give it ample size, but for those of you who have children know that dragging water balloons to a pavilion means they fall, because it gets slippery. So if they're outside, you can set your little chairs on the concrete, let the kids do their thing, and still have plenty of room, and your food is, and stuff is covered.
Scott, are these, what was your name again? Evan, sorry. The columns look to be much larger than what we had on the last one? Is that true?
I believe these columns are 10 inch by 10 inch.
Okay, and
I'm not sure what they're.
how are they anchored to the concrete?
Well, to be honest, I haven't gotten that far into design yet, but it will likely be a deep pier, 2 feet or so, with a moment connection. So likely 2 or 3 number 4 rebars going from the bottom of the post down to the concrete.
So we're gonna be cutting the concrete and putting foundation in.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? What changed from the last bid of using lean-to brackets and sending lag bolts through the concrete to changing it to all of a sudden now we need piers?
We didn't design well.
Wasn't engineered.
Whatever the manufacturer told us to do.
Well, on a structure that size, when you use them brackets that we used, I mean, they're lag bolts. I've personally looked into it, that we fumbled the ball on that. I don't know who engineered it, I don't know where it come from, but that is not meant to hold a structure that size.
It was a kit we bought from a manufacturer.
Yeah, well, that needs to be looked into, because them brackets are designed for lean-tos, not
It
pavilions.
won't happen on this design.
So, with these designs, you know, one's wood and one's steel, okay, so what's the, obviously, I understand, you know, cost more, but the longevity of this pavilion, what's the longevity of it, like lifespan between the two
I
options?
would think steel would last longer. But with this
If you
wood,
say last longer, like how many years, like if we had to give it a year on the pavilion,
50.
50, okay, on wood.
I would say wood would last 30.
There's also the yearly maintenance, if we had in our schedule to have the pavilion stained, and obviously if we go back wood, that's gonna have to be something that we include in our budget. Not every year, but probably every 5 years, so.
Is there any maintenance on the steel building?
We gotta repaint it.
How
So
often?
staining and painting?
Every 5 years.
I don't know, 10 years.
It's more of an as-needed thing.
Benjamin will paint, you can get 10 years of motion.
You also gotta think about people cutting into like a wood structure. I mean, people messing with it, like when you're not there, cutting into it, stapling into it, steel, you don't get that.
What did you say again?
With a wood structure, you have people like that, cause you can't be there 24/7. You're gonna have people vandalizing it, cutting into it, all that stuff. You don't get that with steel. That's a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
And you're okay, Mandy, if we do the steel with the higher that we are covered?
We have to find $50,000, I mean, we don't have it in the recreation budget.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that we have in that budget, so we have to find it someplace else.
That's what I thought.
But I also don't wanna make that decision out of fear,
Absolutely.
so. And that's why we asked them to go wood and steel, just because I was hoping that it wouldn't be that big of a price difference, but.
Would a red iron not be any cheaper?
It would,
Yeah.
but aesthetically it wouldn't look as good.
Well, I'm more worried about safety than I am looks. I mean, you can build an 80 by 100 red iron shop for little to nothing, and we're looking at a pavilion. I mean, safety should be the first concern. And on top of that being cheaper and being steel.
I'm not opposed to quotes on that either.
I mean, cause like the size, like I agree with like Sarah, like, I mean, you think about the schools use it too, don't they? Here and there, so, I mean,
They use it just for like track teams or staff relations or back to school.
Summer school, like Eldon Summer School doesn't use it, other smaller schools will use it, but they don't have near the students that Eldon does. And that's not to say that Eldon won't use it or can't use it, but just they typically don't use it for their, for any picnics or
Schools
anything.
that come in the summer and eat and then.
Yes,
it's
yes,
school
like
and then
your, school, I mean, we have them coming from all over, small towns around, so.
Are we still using those plastic?
picnic tables.
Thank you. Whoever's out there, thank you, you sent me,
The ones under the.
that we got with the grant, yeah.
If they haven't been uncovered yet, from what we can tell, they are in okay shape, but until the structure is uncovered, we won't know for sure if we can continue to use them.
Really?
I mean,
I
to
thought
me,
they were almost
to
indestructible.
me, they look like they can be, but that's, I haven't been under there. For anybody that's been under there, they might be able to answer the question better.
So when's the first time you sang it?
We,
What's our time frame?
we canceled all of the rentals in April, and then we're playing it by ear from there.
So we've got through April.
I would like to see it be able to be rented by Memorial Day if that's possible, but then we're talking about, another month from now before a bid opening.
So we need to make a decision on what we want to do now if we're gonna meet that timeline.
And if we can go ahead and, once the bid is ready, and go ahead and put it out without waiting for board approval, then I think that would be good. Not rushing y'all.
What do you think, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
I think 3 weeks.
3 weeks, we'd have the plans out for bid now.
Well, somebody that feels like they have genuine expertise, make a suggestion. What is the best option?
Red iron.
What's the material you're talking about?
No, that's not on the table.
Steel?
Come on.
I mean, it's not opposed to a red iron quote, I know it's aesthetically different, but, I mean, if it's very strong and it saves money, I'm not opposed to doing that.
I'm not either.
Aesthetically, would
I
it
don't
be
know what
any
it
difference
looks
if you got?
What
painted
are
anyways?
your thoughts on that compared to what you want?
I mean, you can paint it. I was gonna say, I already got painted.
Okay.
Timeline wise, I'm not sure how quickly I can get a quote from a manufacturer, it might be a week.
Well, obviously, it's gonna be cheaper, so.
If it's
just
gonna be
give us the
cheaper, if it's
approval
gonna be
to
cheaper,
approve it
then-
To go with that, then we'll go with
It'd be
that.
somewhere between wood and steel.
It may be under wood even.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, that's like,
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, if it's under wood and then you could just paint it and make it look good the way you want.
I mean,
Paint
in
it
all
like wood.
honesty, people are not running we want it to look nice, but nobody's running that as a, wow, that's the awesome thing I ever ever seen. They're running it because they need the space outside, they don't wanna have cake in their carpet, and they need a place to put everything, so it's covered.
I mean, you can make a red iron railing look pretty decent,
Oh, yeah.
so there's a lot of them out there.
Anyway, but
No.
yes.
I mean, like you said, you can paint it, you can change the color of the steel, or the sheeting that's on top of it, so, I mean, there's different options there.
Those things stand a long time.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting, I don't even know what it
Installed the
looks
same
like,
way
so
as
I
far
can't
as
speak to
in the
the
concrete.
aesthetic part of it.
Alright, Evan, after hearing everything that we've said,
Makes sense of it.
yeah, what are your thoughts? What
By
are you
next
hearing?
week, no.
Are you hearing you go out, if you can get underneath, what, do we wanna put a threshold on it?
Well, no, there's no threshold. We're either going metal, we're going red iron, as cheap as we can get it, or we're going
You know, we might not approve it if it's gonna be
$175 was the thing.
Yeah, but they're
for
saying it's
steel.
gonna be cheaper if they go that way with red iron.
I mean, if we're gonna get this done in 3 weeks and out for bids, guys, we need a decision tonight.
Well, okay, I agree with you. However, we're gonna live with this, hopefully, for how long? How long is this pavilion, and what the simplicity of architecture and the park and the growth of the community, what is going to last the longest, service the best, and aesthetic matters. I mean, it just does, you know, so I'm for something, I don't know what.
Quick, can we drag our feet on this another week or two?
No.
Why?
Hard no, if we have to have it done by like Memorial.
In order to be able to pay for it, we have to get rental income. In order to get rental income, we have to have it standing.
Right, I get that.
And recreation is already by the skin of its teeth to be in the black, because the pool is expensive, minimum wage has gone up, we've gotta pay lifeguards. Yes, we have increased pool fees, pool admin fees and things like that, but that is not going to make up this year with how much more we're going to have to pay the people who work at the pool. And that this is all one big fund.
So can we just make the approval of, as long as it is, if the red iron comes back in underneath the 143, then it's good, and then if it's over that, then we go for it.
So
And
120
then you know
plus
how often that
engineering
ugly
fees.
red iron would have to be painted? Cause it is ugly.
Yeah, I would say.
It's ugly, I don't.
Oh, yeah, it's ugly.
I would say every 10 years or
10 years.
so.
I mean, if you want something pleasing to the eye, it's not gonna be red iron. But that's what we can afford, so good.
So it's 120.
One at 120 and the 20%
So I'm saying, showing that, that's a red iron building.
Yeah, he's got a picture of a red iron building. I mean, some people may think they're ugly, but again, at the end of the day, we've already dropped the ball. I mean, safety's more important than pretty.
What's the Catholic Church at?
Huh?
Where's the Catholic Church at?
Chief Verify, pass that down for tax.
Go ahead.
We rushed the last one and it fell over. I mean, we need to really think this through.
Based on longevity, the steel is gonna last the longest. It's very expensive, but it's gonna be in place, last the longest, and do a good job forever and ever, amen. Except, is everybody saying we can't afford steel? Is that what I'm hearing?
It's 175,000, and you're at 20% for engineering on top of that.
You're gonna be over 200,000, you're gonna be at least 50 to 75 over what we're getting back from insurance.
So if we make a motion, just underneath 120 for red iron, we go what, red iron, and then otherwise we're going for it.
And I'm coming back to the fact that this park is it's a hallmark of our community. People go there all summer long, even if they don't use that pavilion. It speaks volumes about our community. I think the aesthetic matters.
So let me ask you this, do you know what the other pavilion is at, Rock Island Park? What's it made out of?
You want
I know you do, but most people won't. I mean, most people won't know what it is. They know there's a pavilion there, they know there's bathrooms in the middle of it, that's all they know. They don't know if it's wood, steel,
No, I was gonna say.
red iron, they're not gonna know.
Well, if there's
As long as we paint it, I don't think anyone cares.
formed structure with, it's red and it has holes in it, I can guess.
We paint it black,
Paint it any color. I mean, I think,
gray.
you
I
know,
was waiting for them to
my
ask me.
personal opinion, if we had all the money in the world, of course we'd build a $175,000 beautiful metal pavilion.
Agreed.
We don't. I think most people are looking for a place to have a party, a place to hold an event, a place to get under the weather or out of the sun, and I don't think they're going to care. Now, is it beautiful? No. Could we paint it and make it look decent? Yeah. I don't think anybody that I know would go, wow, I wish this pavilion was made out of this instead of that. I think they would just be happy to have a pavilion, and we would stay under budget, which seems to me to be administratively and fiscally responsible.
I always love being under budget, it's not that. This is a long haul project. I mean, that's the only thing I'm talking about.
So we would need to make sure that the tank is included in the bid.
How often would it have to be painted?
Yeah, that's the church. It's
What?
red iron.
So.
Yeah, the church across the way is red iron, by the way.
And then your heart, correct?
It's
Yeah.
red iron.
It is red iron.
So question, if we didn't paint it the first few years, it's not gonna harm it, right?
Right.
That's
So,
like a
I mean, that's
primer.
the other piece that we wouldn't have to paint it for the first couple of years, we could come back and paint it.
That's what the red coating is, it's like a rust preventer, it's a primer.
So if we came back and said, hey, it's over budget because we were going to try to paint it, we just wait a year, put it in the budget for next
Yeah.
year.
I mean, it's,
Yeah, there you go, put it as an alternate for it.
so you said that the steel building, the longevity, we're looking at 50 years. What would it be for the wood building?
Around 30.
30, okay, sorry.
And I would say red iron would be comparable to steel in longevity. Just make a motion.
Alright, so we make that motion, if the red iron comes back, 120, where we're not gonna go above our budget with the engineering, fee, then I say we go with red iron, otherwise.
I got a problem with that motion. Okay, we can do an engineer's estimate and determine whether it's gonna come in under 120, but when you actually bid it to a contractor, our estimate is just an estimate.
Yeah.
We found that out a lot.
Well, and at that point, we have to approve it anyway, so we
You
can.
gotta approve it anyway.
So if the I think, make a motion that if the estimate is under 120, that way, whenever it comes back. Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we'll move forward with the project, if the estimate comes back, under any.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
That's-
If it doesn't, then we gotta come back to the drawing board. So, I mean, that's already where we're at. At least,
Wasn't that fun?
are you all okay with coming back to the drawing board, or do we wanna do something different? I almost,
Fine, I mean, if we go with the wood option, the wood option is the backup option anyway, so that's coming in for one.
Well, isn't that what, should we do that now?
and that's, I think, what,
You wanted it tonight, so you know what to do next, right?
That's right.
So if it doesn't come back under what we approved, we're gonna go with wood?
well, that's what you guys have to decide right now. We can come back and talk about it, but we're gonna push our timeline out at least another 2 weeks.
No, we don't have that time.
See, that's the only choice we have. I mean, we have to get it in.
The choice
Afford.
to come back or go wood?
Yeah.
Go wood. So if someone wanna make a motion that if it comes back too expensive, we go with
Let's
wood.
just, can we amend or make a new
Just
motion?
make a motion.
And make a motion if the bid comes back from red iron.
That'd be the estimate.
I mean, yes, it comes back to red. Sorry. Over 120, then we go back to wood.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thanks.
Next week, Scott.
Okay, I'm gonna start it just wear off before you go home.
Got anything else?
It's like going to the dentist.
Alderman, Alderwoman?
I have two things. First, thank you, Manny, for the water meter stuff. Second, do we know how many water meters are still out that we are replacing? What's that count?
What was that?
Water meter count, like how many water meters are still out?
So we're still replacing them, obviously not as fast as we were, just because we're getting busy and I just got one guy doing it.
Right.
For some reason, the count's going up on how many are dead. I got a hold of Master Meter, they're gonna look into it, see if they're, something's wrong in the system, or if they're actually just more dying that quickly. So last time came, we were at 340 something, or somewhere in 300. Today when I looked, this afternoon, we were at 508. But, I don't know, that's what Master Meter's looking at too, it could just be, for some reason, the meter lost signal. So, obviously we're digging through that, but we're just starting to get busy because it's getting warm, so it's a little slower of a process.
So we're keeping tabs on, trying to figure out what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And then for the street side, I know we hired more, workers and we're working on like the whole, getting the patching through the street. How's that project going?
Boy, that was a lot of heads that turned this way. It's not going well. I've been trying to do a streets committee meeting. I don't know what to tell you, it's not going well.
Scheduled twice, yeah.
We done lost one guy. Got one guy over there trying to coax him along, trying to keep things rolling, but it's cold patch. Ain't nobody want to work, let alone do cold patch. If we get somebody in here that'll a little younger, good shoulders, good back, ain't scared to swing a tamper all day long, you show me that person, let's hire him.
Is, just a question, so if the grant things all go well through Steve's grant, will that roller help with that, or is that something completely different than the roller being able to pack it?
Yes and no. Yes to, if you got huge patches, yes. But we've also got the trail coming up, and we need a roller for the trail. And if we start beating rock with it, then we're going to start pitting the drums.
Absolutely.
I've also heard rumblings that we're paving something else, and we don't have one roller, let alone two. When you do asphalt, you've got to break it down, and then you've got to finish it. That requires two different size rollers. The one we have doesn't have sprayers, don't have water tanks, don't have cocoa mats, don't have nothing. So it cannot go on asphalt. If we want to keep that one for, say, Katy Trail, you have to dump a lot of money in it. There's nothing left of it. It doesn't want to run. When you get it started, you can't shut it off or it's never starting again. I personally had to push it on a trailer. It's a whole thing. A lot of our equipment's from the early 80s. None of it's in working order. It's never been taken care of. And I'm not speaking against anybody from the past. I'm just speaking from my experience. We don't have anything to do paving the proper way. Not one thing. We don't even have the proper rakes. We don't have the proper shovels. This cold patch crew I tried starting, I wanted 2 guys, a jackhammer and a generator. We got the jackhammer, got the generator, got 2 guys, 1 guy transferred. It's cold patch. Nobody wants it. Right out in front of his house, I did a great big old patch with 3-year-old cold patch. The thing sunk 8 inches in a matter of weeks. Right next to it, I done one with brand new cold patch. It sank a ½ inch. We've got, if we're worried about asphalt, we've got to stay with the times. Number 1. Number 2, we've got to keep fresh material, and it's all expensive. Our asphalt budget's what, $200,000? That does 2 blocks. We've got to find more money at the end of the day. And that's what it's going to require. Our streets are in shambles. Everybody complains about them. You guys know about it. We know about it. But we don't have the capability of doing anything about it. Whether it's the guys working, people in the offices, there's nothing we can do. And that's something you all got to discuss because we're at a deadhead with that. A lot of work needs done, but it requires a lot of money.
So are you saying right now we don't have anyone patching potholes?
Yes, we do.
You do?
Not anybody that wants to, but every time they're out there, they're forced. We finally got our generator, our jackhammer, our saw set up, got all that, lost a guy, moved another guy. That's one of them deals we're going to have to jump on the hiring board real fast because warm weather's here. We need to be out there every day.
Do we have any more of the old stuff left, or we got rid of all that? You said
No, it's all sitting over here.
What can we do with that?
Sell it. Put it on Purple Wave.
Will
Get rid of
somebody
it.
come buy it?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of little contractors out there, mom and pop stores that do driveways. That overlayer will mean the world to them, but it's nothing to us. We need a paver if we're going to be paving.
So we use gov deals as our means to sell surplus. You can put something like that on gov deals.
Don't know, never been on good deals. I know.
Yes, Gov Deals has everything.
I know the big companies like Capital and all them, they use Purple Wave.
Which Steve is putting together a surplus list. Those items in particular, obviously he is waiting on the grant to get the replacements before we get rid of and not have anything at all.
Yeah, you gotta have equipment to do something, so.
You have money to have equipment, you gotta have guys to run it. As every business on planet Earth right now, we're understaffed. And at the end of the day, you want good help, you gotta pay for it. You pay McDonald's wages, you get ex-McDonald's employees. I'm sorry, I know that's just putting it out there, but that's what it is. You get what you pay for.
Brian, did you have anything else?
No, I was just wondering if you could update on, because we don't have a list or anything of all those streets that have potholes that, what we were going.
All of them. Upstairs, I had a map made, had all the guys go out and do throw and go, throw it in the hole, pack it in, move on. That way we could at least get town covered, and then we could start square cutting. In the meantime, when we had time, we were going over on 14th Street and doing big square cuts, and I had big plans, and then the rain started, and yeah.
I have two things that from our airport committee meeting we had, which I thought was fantastic. These are really good, you guys have a lot of great ideas and ways about business and things, but there were two things that they told me that were super concerning that I'm hoping maybe we can get fixed sooner rather than later. One, a windsock, whatever that, it tells it it's shredded and it's really bad, and so if we could get them a windsock so they know which way the wind is blowing to them. And two, I know you mentioned something last week about the lights, but they just talked about how some of them aren't working, and you know that, but just to bring it back to the forefront and then figure out like what we need to do, for that at some point, but, they said windsocks are like $80, so I was hoping.
Yeah, I wrote that down, we can order that. And the lights, that is in the plan for next year with grant money. And so we have quite a few bulbs, and so we'll just continue to replace those bulbs, but they don't last long because it's the entire picture that needs to be replaced, not just the bulbs, so.
And they said something about there being like moisture in there, and then like, I don't know this much about it, but maybe like if we could come up with like a quick gasket fix or something. I don't know anything of that, I don't even know what they look like, that might be an absolute no. But I know that you said the bulbs were expensive, but they weren't even griping, they were just talking in their own. And so I was like.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely aware of that, that's, like I said, that's something that we're looking at doing, but I can have, Whitney look and see if a gasket or something would be a possibility out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Something to keep the moisture out, because that's the problem, is the
We
moisture.
just gotta babysit it till we
Yeah.
can get the new ones, but, that was all I had with that.
I know it was part of the conversation, but why didn't we revisit the pavilion when we put this last one up?
What?
Huh?
What?
Why didn't we rebid the pavilion before we put the last one up? Like, we got a bid like in 2017, 22, but did we have those whenever we bought this one? Cause I was told that
We had a 22 one.
yeah.
So the 22 one, we only had one bid at that time, and we never really opened those bids because we stopped. Because the pool started having major issues, and in the budget, there was nothing else to do. So I made that.
It was open, it just wasn't.
It never was.
I know, I remember that.
We tabled all of that because of the pool laying that had to cut at the bottom of the pool and do all kinds of. So it's kind of pushed. I mean, in hindsight, we should have.
We should have, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, mistakes were made, lessons were learned, there's no doubt
No,
about that, and I will
I hear
definitely
you.
be the first to admit that, so.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, it was, that's what we should have done. So.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
No,
We're all
right.
human, and
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
I mean, all we